Hello friends, Adam here with FED. Before we get started today, I want to give a shout out to tonight's Fire Emblem Radiant Dawn chat sabotage run, where I'm being forced to use units like Leonardo, Meg, and Fiona, while I can't use some of the best units in the game like Har, Titania, and Tabarn. So come join, we're in part 4. We're hopefully going to finish this either tonight or Wednesday. So please come join and have some fun. Alright, so Fire Emblem Echoes, full disclosure, is one of my favorite games in the Fire Emblem series. I absolutely adore playing it. I'm actually playing it again right now, and it really inspired me to make this video. I think Fire Emblem Echoes is one of the most fun Fire Emblem experiences you can have up until Part 4. Really, Fire Emblem Echoes is amazing for about 75% of the game. And today we're going to go over why that is, and then why it stops being as fun or as enjoyable for the last 25% of the game. Now, I'm not going to try and argue that Fire Emblem Echoes has the best map design or the most interesting story or anything like that. Rather, I'm going to argue kind of the opposite of that, and you'll see why. So, Fire Emblem Echoes, Shadows of Valentia, much like Gaiden, is separated into 5 parts. The first 2 being, Part 1 being a solo, just Alm army stuff, Part 2 being just Celica and her army, and then Part 3 opens up and you can control both armies at the same time. Same for Part 4, and then Part 5 is just like a big endgame dungeon. So really, the majority of the game is played in the first 4 parts. The first 2 parts, I will 100% say, are hugely carried by presentation. The story is fresh. I'm not saying it's amazing, but it is fresh and fun. Unless you played Gaiden and you kind of already get the gist of what's happening. But I think they've added enough to make it interesting even for classic fans. The voice acting is insanely good. It is superb. To me, it is like the industry standard. I think it's better than anything we got in Fire Emblem Three Houses. Special shout out to Alm, Lucas, and Clive's voice actors, who were just amazing. I could listen to Lucas's buttery voice all day. It's so good. And Alm just does a really good job of conveying emotion. Really good voice acting. And even other characters do a great job. I like 2 of my favorite characters in the entire series, mainly because of the amazing voice acting and their fun writing, are Gray and Tobin. Just really, really well done. They play off of each other really well. Great character moments with that, and good voice acting. On top of that, the artwork is beautiful. It makes the world feel lived in. Like, the chips in the armor, like, no one's armor is like this perfect, immaculate looking thing. Obviously, they've seen battle and they know, it's like, and the armor shows that. That's one thing that kind of bothers me in a lot of Fire Emblem games, is the characters look perfect. You know, they look like they've gone unscathed forever, and their clothes and armor are perfect. And Shadows of Valentia does a great job of not having that. And on top of that, I don't know how to describe it other than just saying, like, I'm not like an artist. I don't really understand the intricacies of art and whatever, but I know what I like when I see it, right? And the characters just seem kind of, I don't want to say dirty, but they don't seem like super clean. They don't seem sterile like characters from Awakening or Fates, or even like the Tellius games in some instances. So I love the artwork. It just makes all the difference. It's really fun to look at. Now, moving into more like gameplay things, but still into the presentation side, the battles are so fast-paced and well-animated. It's literally the perfection of the formula that started with Awakening, and then was a little improved in Fates, and then Shadows of Valentia just blew those games out of the water in terms of how fun the battles are to watch. The kill moves are fun, but the animations are grounded. Like, they don't look super extreme. Like, you still have stuff like, I don't know, freaking when a Myrmidon kills an enemy, they jump like 5 feet into the air and come down and slash someone in the face, rather than being just like a normal attack or something. Or, of course, you have weird stuff like Dread Fighters, who are weird teleporting ninja dudes, which aren't grounded at all. But there's a lot of things that it just feels, there's weight to the characters and their movements, their actions. It feels slightly more realistic, but not so realistic that it's boring to watch. It is very fantastical still. And the camera work in battle is amazing too. Little things like following an arrow after it is shot, or zooming in and out on a character when they're preparing to attack or kill an enemy is really beautiful and really fun to watch. And you can tell that it is done in a way that showcases it, because the animators and the creators of the game are so proud of what they've created. And it's so dynamic. It's just so dynamic and fun to watch. And it really is just the little touches. Characters are constantly talking on the map and in and after battle, in towns and other areas. Just the presentation is literally the best in the series. I think it's better than Three Houses by a mile even. You might argue with me, but I don't know. Personally, I think Shadows of Valentia has better voice acting. I think the battle animations are much more enjoyable to watch. They're so quick and snappy. And I just find the characters more enjoyable to listen to while they talk and stuff. So, best presentation in the series. The first 2 parts really are carried by that. And it really is just obvious that the people who made this game are real fans of Fire Emblem. And even more so, real fans of Gaiden. They really wanted to do this game justice and give it the release that it deserved. This international release that everyone can enjoy. Oh, it's so beautiful. Such a great game. So well made. Once you get to part 3, the game's presentation starts to blend in. And by blend in, I mean it just becomes less special than when you started. You don't notice it as much. But the game is still carried by a sense of constant progression. Gaiden and Shadows of Valentia have the best army progression of the series, aside from maybe Three Houses now. Just because Three Houses, every character is so fluid and can promote like a bazillion times, their army's always changing. But in Shadows of Valentia, the extremely easy to meet promotion requirements and the game giving you next to no reason to wait to promote, give your army a constant feel of growth. This is made even greater by the fact that you start with 4 characters, in Shadows of Valentia 3 characters in Gaiden, that can promote up to 3 times, and they can and one of them is already ready to promote. Another one, so Gray is already ready to promote. Another one, Tobin, I think is 1 level away from being able to promote. And then Cliff and Faye are both level 1, but guess what? Villagers promote at level 3. And they can promote into a wide variety of classes depending on their gender. And from there, a lot of those classes can promote another time or 2 times more. And the promotion requirements never feel like they are so far out of the reach that you're never going to reach it. Like it's going to take like until end game. Like for the classes that have 3 tiers, it's like you promote at level 7 and then level 10 on the next one. And you can meet those super fast. And the fact that you just move up to base stats of that class basically means there's no reason to wait to promote. Because if you wait too long, the promotion really doesn't even give you any stat gains. If you go to level 20, which experience gains at level 20 are like zip, they're gross. Like the game really just wants you to promote, and it gives you really easy access to promotion, and it makes your army just change over time. Your army is constantly becoming stronger, and it's super easy to visualize. Because, I have Gray, and he was a villager, then he was a mercenary, and then by the end of part 2, maybe he was a Myrmidon, and then by the end of part 3, he's a Dread Fighter. And it's just amazing. And you have that with so many different characters. But the problem is, I find myself personally, without grinding, like I don't avoid, like in dungeons I don't avoid battles, but I don't like seek more out to grind. I find myself reaching many of my characters their final class by like the beginning or middle of part 4. And that's where the game's admittedly boring map design in a lot of areas can start to become a bit more obvious, and that really hurts the overall experience of the game. I think Fire Emblem Echoes, Shadows of Valentia leaves a bad lasting impression on people because of how it ends. And that makes me kind of sad, because a lot of people bash on this game for its boring map design, but that's just not the focus of it, you know? That's not the focus of the game experience. The focus of the experience is to create a sense of progression. It's more of an RPG than a Fire Emblem, or more of an RPG than a strategy game. And I think if people went into it with that mindset, they would like it more than they do at this point. I know that helped me when I've honestly just started to, like, even for like the story stuff, it's kind of nice just to have on, like, while I'm like cooking or something. Like, it sounds silly, but like I'll play a map, and then for if I know there's like a long cutscene or a long presentation section, I'll just set my 3DS up on the loudest setting, just set it by the stove while I'm cooking, and just listen to it. It's so like, it's like listening to a novel. It's really great. Such a good game. I love it. I do acknowledge that the last part can be a little tedious, but I think the game is really, really good. Like, amazing. One of the better experiences in Fire Emblem for the first, like, 3/4 of it. But hey, those are just my thoughts. Let me know what you think in the comments. Do you think Fire Emblem Echoes Shadows of Valentia is good? Do you even enjoy it? And really, why do you think people don't enjoy it if they don't? And why do you think people enjoy it if they do? And of course, make sure to check out tonight's live stream. Starting at 6 p.m. Pacific time, we're going to be playing Radiant Dawn. We're hopefully going to get to the tower tonight. And if we get to the tower tonight, who knows, if I'm feeling it, we might just blow through the entire game. But regardless, we'll have it finished probably at the very latest on Wednesday, we'll probably finish. And make sure to subscribe for more content like this, and like the video if you want other people to join the channel. It'd be good stuff. So thanks for watching. Bye, guys.